everyone, and welcome back to We Sometimes Talk About Thrillers on Thursdays. As you can tell by the decorations, what I'm wearing, I just decorated for Halloween about an hour ago. It's the first week of September, which is honestly a little bit late for me. But this video I think is going to be a lot of fun because, and this is all going to be in one video, I'm going to film a book haul, then I'm going to film a book unhaul because I need to clear out some space on my bookshelf so I can fit these new books. I really don't like to have just piles of books around. I like to keep it to just what I really think I'm going to read or books that I love that fit onto this bookshelf. And the reason I'm calling this a Halloween book haul and unhaul is one, because there are a good amount of horror novels in this video, but also because at the very end of it, I'm going to film a couple minutes of when I was decorating for Halloween in case you all want to see that. But please let me know if there are any autumn horror type videos that you want me to film this year. And I'm very excited because, as we all know, it's my, and I'm sure many of your, favorite time of year. So we're going to start off with the book haul. And again, I'll have timestamps below if you want to just watch the book haul or the book unhaul or the Halloween decorating. But my brother kindly got me a copy of Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is his classic, most popular horror graphic novel about the spiral. And from what I've heard, they are finally making this into a TV series. I have a vague memory of seeing a series based off of some of his other short stories, and I don't feel like it was done very well, but people seem to be really excited about the adaptation that's coming out soon. I could have sworn I already owned this, but my brother got a copy for me, which was really nice. Then for my birthdays, a lot of these are going to be birthday books because my birthday was in July, but I just haven't had a chance to film this. But my friend Steve got me a copy of Witches, Volume 1 by Scott Snyder. This is about the Rook family as they move to a new town to escape their past, only to encounter terrifying supernatural creatures known as witches that prey on their deepest fears. As their daughter Sailor becomes entangled in a dark and ancient curse, the family must confront the horrors lurking both in the woods and within themselves. I am pretty sure that I read this at least a couple of years ago and had mixed thoughts on it, but this is such a popular, it's one of the most popular horror graphic novels. So even though I think I might have already read it, I'm not upset by any means that I got it as a gift for my birthday, and I think I'm going to give it a second chance. Definitely not a horror novel, but in some ways very upsetting. We have Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm sure many of you have either read this book or seen the TV show, both of which were incredibly popular. I picked this up at a thrift store, and I have seen, and I absolutely adored the series. On the off chance you're not familiar with this, our protagonists are Connell and Marianne, and this takes place in Ireland. They meet in their teenage years, and it follows them through a little bit later in their lives and follows their romance. But please let me know if you think, if I've already watched the show, if you think it would be worthwhile to go back and read the book, especially considering I know the major plot points, but I adored the show so much, and I've never read anything by Sally Rooney. So again, let me know if you think I should maybe keep this one. I just got it for $1 or $2 at a thrift shop. Then a couple of these books I picked up because the community I live in here on my street, they had a yard sale, and so I got one of the guys who lives in the same sort of area as me, apparently really likes horror, and he had some horror novels he was decluttering. And the first one was It Rides a Pale Horse. And this is a supernatural horror novel where siblings Peter and Joanna are plunged into a nightmarish world after Peter receives this sinister painting that predicts his sister's kidnapping. As they race against time to unravel the eerie mysteries behind the painting, they must confront dark forces and their own hidden fears to survive. And the concept of this, the cover, just really, really drew me in. And I can't remember if he was talking about this one or the other one I'm going to show in a minute that he said was really good and scary. But I just love coming across books like this, especially in places like yard sales, because I have never heard of this one before. This was the other one I picked up from him, and that is A Flicker in Dark. And this is a psychological thriller about Chloe Davis, a psychologist whose past is haunted by her father's conviction as a serial killer of young girls. When similar disappearances begin happening 20 years later, Chloe is forced to confront her darkest fears as she unravels a new mystery that threatens to consume her. And I am so surprised that I have not heard of this one, because when I was looking at reviews on Goodreads, this was a 2022 mystery novel nominee. Seems to be very popular, and the reviews for this are incredible, so I'm so excited for this one. This next one I picked up from a woman who, same yard sale, but was also, she was just giving some of these away for free, but this was the last thing he told me, and this is about a thriller / mystery about a husband who goes missing, and he leaves his kind of newer wife a note saying, please take care of her. And she knows that the her in the note is about his teenage daughter, who is not the biggest fan of her. I'm going to be honest, I meant to actually put this in the, I have a haul pile next to me and the unhaul pile to my right, and I meant to put this in the unhaul because I saw the reviews for this were not great, and the plot, the more I read about it, doesn't really excite me very much. But if you've read this and you think I should keep it, please let me know. The other one I picked up, she must have been a Book of the Month subscriber, is The Paris Apartment, and this follows Jess, who arrives at her brother Ben's apartment in Paris only to find him missing under suspicious circumstances. As she investigates his disappearance, Jess uncovers dark secrets about Ben's neighbors and the building itself, where no one is quite who they seem. This one seemed to have pretty mixed reviews, and I'm going a little bit back and forth on whether I should keep it or donate it. I know these Book of the Month books tend to be very, very popular, so I'm sure some of you have read this, and I've seen this one kind of everywhere, so please let me know if you think it's one that I would enjoy. This next one is a book that I was gifted by my boyfriend's sister for my birthday, which was so kind of her, and that is You Like It Darker by Stephen King. This has been on my list for a while, and it's a collection of 12 short stories that delve into the darker part of our lives, both metaphorical and literal. And what's so nice about her getting this for me, I wonder if she saw one of my videos where I said I wanted this, but this is Stephen King's newest release. And I'm really torn because I have a poll question for you all. I'm going on a cruise pretty soon. It's for a week. I've never been on a cruise before, and I'm trying really hard to decide between 3 books. And those books are You Like It Darker by Stephen King, A Secret History because I've never read it and I think this would be a good time to read it, or The Terror because I think since I'll be on a cruise, it could be fun to read a horror novel set on a ship. So I'll list those 3 down below and maybe a pinned comment, but please let me know down below which of those 3 do you think I should take with me, because I'm really having a hard time deciding and I only want to take one book. This next one my friend Caitlin very kindly gave to me because she read it and she loved it. And this is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I know that this has been hugely popular. I haven't picked it up just because when I say what the plot summary is, it's just not something I typically would gravitate towards. This is about 2 childhood friends, Sam and Sadie, who reconnect in adulthood to create a groundbreaking video game that transforms their lives. What I'm gonna guess is gonna happen is I'm gonna really like the writing style, so I will get sucked in and enjoy this. But again, this is another one that's hugely popular, so let me know if you've read it and you've enjoyed it. But I've been hearing so much buzz about this, so even though it's not a plot that necessarily excites me, I am excited to pick it up. I still have 2 right now that I'm reading that are on my Kindle, so I don't have them to physically show. I rented them from the library. But this first one I'm trying to read pretty soon. I might also take it with me on the cruise because I think it's a good end of summer going into fall mystery novel, and that is The God of the Woods. This takes place in a 1970s summer camp from multiple perspectives. A wealthy family owns the land in upstate New York where the summer camp is located, and their young daughter goes missing. So it's about all the different perspectives of that happening. I am about 50 pages into this so far, and I'm really, really enjoying it. The other one I have on my Kindle isn't typically a plot maybe that would excite me, but I'm just loving the writing, and that is The Rachel Incident. This follows Rachel as she navigates her chaotic life in Dublin, where a tumultuous friendship with her charismatic yet troubled best friend James leads to a series of dramatic and life-changing events. As Rachel becomes entangled in a web of personal and professional challenges, her choices force her to confront the unexpected consequences of her decisions. I think it has to do with her maybe falling for a slightly older man. That's what I saw in like the few sentence summary before I checked it out. But I'm excited to see what this incident is. But this one I'm also about 40 pages in or so, and I'm really, really loving the writing style. It's also quite funny. Again, not typically what I would pick up, but I'm really, really liking it. Okay, now we're gonna shift from the book haul into the book unhaul. First up is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and this follows Emma Davis, who returns to the summer camp where her 3 friends vanished years earlier under mysterious circumstances. I have not read this one yet, and that kind of goes for some of this unhaul. Some I've read and I didn't really like. Others I own, but I just don't see myself picking up anytime soon. I've realized Riley Sager I really like for when I'm commuting to and from work to listen to as an audiobook. I don't know if you all are that way, but I have some authors who I prefer as audiobooks versus physical books. And his I think are really kind of fun to digest, even if I'm sitting in kind of terrifying traffic with the area that I live in, because they're fast paced, they move along really quickly. So I think I'm going to donate this one. I'm sure someone will be happy to pick it up, and I'll just listen to it as an audiobook. This next one was really kind of silly because I picked up from that same guy who lives in my neighborhood who reads horror novels, Tender is the Flesh. And I picked it up because I was so excited. I recognized the title. This is a dystopian Argentinian horror novel about in the not too distant future when people consume people for meat. Just terrifying. But I realized the second I got home was I've already read and reviewed this. At least I think I've already reviewed this. And while it was a really interesting read, I did not love it. I'm glad that I finally read it because I've heard so much about it. But the themes, I think it just didn't get to where I was hoping it would go. And it was very upsetting. I think if you read horror, I would recommend picking it up. But again, if I've read books, I like to just keep them if they're an absolute favorite, and this was not a favorite, so I'm going to donate it. My last video that I filmed that I will link here as well as at the end of the video was I input 10 of my favorite books into ChatGPT and I let it choose a book for me to read, and then I read that book and reviewed and, you know, showcased whether or not it was a good idea. And the book it chose, not to spoil it, but you can still welcome to go watch that video to see my in-depth review, was The Girl Before, which is a thriller. I am unhauling it, but if you want to see how this kind of came about and see my review on it, you can check out that video. I feel bad donating this one because my friends Steve and Caitlin, they also got me this graphic novel, Snow, Glass, and Apples, which is a retelling of Snow White. You can see who this is by, and if you've been following anything that's been happening with Neil in the news, unfortunately, I don't really want to own any books by him anymore or graphic novels. It's a subject matter that might not be comfortable for, and on top of that, the artwork of this was beautiful. You know, clearly he wasn't the illustrator. The illustrator did a wonderful job. The plot, I did not enjoy. And again, I love Coraline, so it's kind of upsetting, but just don't want to own anything by him anymore. But again, you can just Google yourself and see what's been going on. And the last one that I'm going to be donating is End of Story by A.G. Finn. My boyfriend's mom reads a ton, much more than I do. She's the one who should have a YouTube channel, not me. She read this and she gave it to me and kind of just, when she reads books, if they happen to be something she thinks I might be interested in, she'll just give them to me. But even when she gave this to me, she said that she thought it wasn't great. So I have not read this, but it's just been sitting on my shelf for a bit. And the more I think about it, I just don't really see myself picking this up. But in case you are curious, I'll just say briefly what it's about. It's about a woman named Claire who becomes entangled in a dark and dangerous mystery when she discovers an old manuscript with a chillingly accurate account of a recent crime. But again, the reviews for this were not very good. It's a pretty long book. I just don't see myself sitting down to pick this one up. But if you read it and you really liked it, please let me know. So now we're going to turn over to the Halloween decorating portion of the video. I haven't actually purchased much stuff at all for Halloween this year, so that's why I haven't done a video like that, but just decorating with what I have right now. But I hope you all are doing well and staying safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.